Hi everyone, my name is Arne Verliefde. I'm currently a professor at Ghent University at the Faculty of Bioscience Engineering, and I'm head of the Particle and Interfacial Technology Group, or PAINT as we call it. PAINT currently consists of about 25 people, and we do research on what we call selective separation in water. So as an example, we do research on seawater desalination, where we separate salts and water. But in the case we'll be discussing here, we're selectively separating nutrients from nutrient-rich waste streams. And that's what we do in Saturn. Saturn, or solar-assisted treatment of urine and manure with recovery of nutrients, as we call it as a working title, is basically a technology which selectively recovers nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium from nutrient-rich waste streams. To give you an example, urine contains a lot of nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium, which are in essence the fertilizers that we use to fertilize crops. And what we currently do with urine is we flush it down the toilet. And as a result, it becomes diluted and we destroy the nutrients that are in there in our wastewater treatment plants. So in fact, we lose energy two times. We lose energy in the fact that we have to harvest nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, and we lose energy in the fact that we are destroying them and we have to re-harvest them again. So what we do at Saturn is we close this loop. We take these nutrient-rich waste streams and we selectively recover the nutrients without actually destroying them. So we are essentially working towards a more circular economy in nutrients. So Saturn started from a really scientific research question. How can you now selectively recover nutrients from a nutrient-rich waste stream? So we turned that into the PhD research of Sebastian de Reze, who had a joint or a common interest with me, namely how can we solve a sanitation issue in developing countries. And that actually became the first market, more or less, that we had in mind, even though we weren't thinking about a company at the time. So from that scientific research question, we started working in the lab, and we actually came up with a technology that worked quite well on so-called synthetic urine streams, as we call them. We tried to mimic real urine. And during short-term tests, we saw that it worked quite well, but we needed longer-term proof, of course, and we needed to work with the real thing, real urine. Now, luckily, where could we get urine? Well, luckily, we're in Ghent University, and Ghent has one of the largest summer city festivals in the world. During the Ghent Festival, or the Gentse Feesten, as we call it, about 1 million people come during 10 days. And there's a lot of urine that is available there. So we got a spot at the Ghent Festival where we could actually take the urine from festival goers and we could transform it and recover the nutrients. At the same time, we actually recovered water as well, which is part of our technology. And we turned that into beer as a kind of marketing stunt. And I got a lot of media attention, a lot of publicity, and we got actually requests from everywhere throughout the world, from Iceland to Greenland to South America to Shanghai. People asking us if they could buy our installation because they thought it was so extremely interesting. And actually at that point, that was when we started thinking about real commercialization of Saturn technology. So the technical development of Saturn, the real scientific development, started around 5 years ago. And 2.5 years ago, we did those pilot trials at the Ghent Festival. And only then we really started thinking about what are the interesting markets for Saturn. So we had the urine in developing countries, we had the festival market, for example, and we saw that those were interesting markets. Especially the developing country market was large, but it was quite difficult to reach. So 1.5 years ago, we went brainstorming even a bit further, and we saw that there was a problem much closer to home. In fact, in Flanders and the Netherlands, a lot of farmers are facing manure surplus. They have a lot of animals, those animals produce manure, and not all that manure can be brought onto the land because of legislation and, well, basically the prevention of algal blooms. And at the same time, these farmers have to put extra artificial fertilizers onto the land. So we saw that there was, in fact, a huge potential for Saturn there. And through talks with these farmers, we saw that there was, in fact, a real product market fit. So with the support of the Ghent University Industrial Research Fund, we actually got a grant to start Saturn as a spin-off company, or to work with Saturn towards a spin-off company. And we're currently finalizing the business plan for Saturn as a spin-off in the manure market. And we're also finishing our final pilot trials, whereby we have a lot of client interaction with all these farmers. So we hope to have Saturn in the market within at maximum a year from now, and we hope that Saturn will turn into a very successful business.